a lot of us were at home for around 2 years, which meant that it affected our mental health, not having support of a teacher in school.
When the young people join the boat, it's they generally find they're generally very apprehensive. First of all, it's a whole new environment, very alien to them. Most of them have never been on a boat before. This is quite a large boat, so they're apprehensive, possibly a bit scared. They tend to be quite subdued, therefore they tend to be very quiet, and very often they're quite withdrawn when you see them when they first get on the boat, when we bring them down and sit them in the saloon here. Cool, yeah.
My name's Shaw. I learn how to drive boats.
You will be driving a boat, you will all be driving this boat. Bear in mind it's 72 foot long, you know, it's longer than an articulated lorry, weighs 52 tonnes, so it weighs more than an articulated lorry. You'll be driving.
Put that down in there, then it's not going to get tangled like it did before. And then if you wind that in as tight as you can get it, and then if you want to go and put your foot on that side again like we did before.
They tend to be slightly disparate, so one of our first tasks is actually to get them starting to working as a team. And we do that through the various tasks we're doing, primarily above decks, with the sail handling drills and things like that, which all on a boat this size require teamwork, otherwise they simply don't happen.
So look at...
I said take it out, and then as you release it, you set its weight on it to lock it
3,
up.
2,
Yeah,
1.
Ready? Okay.
Out.
Now what? Well, it was sort of like you were excited but also anxious at the same time, but it was also like an exciting experience because we thought it's something new. No many of us have done it before, so we thought we'd learn much more things.
Attach it to that. You can pull the slack in by hand.
So I thought everyone would be afraid, you know, more fear, but it was actually really enjoyable.
They're going to start sailing. Most of these young people have never been offshore before. They've never been out on a boat before. So the sheer fact we've untied from the pontoon and driven out into the Solent and the boat's starting to rock is a whole new experience for them. And also they're learning about the people they're with and how to work with them, to what people's strengths are and how to best work as a team. So that's nice. You're just the right distance off that red. Yeah, so if you can go up to the next red, stay the same distance off it. You see the next one? Yeah, the one, not the one we're next to, the next one up. Yeah, there's another mark behind you.
As the voyage went on, like we started getting close together and starting to get to know each other because obviously we lived together for a long time.
I have learned to like cut onions and cut vegetables. Do you help out in the kitchen at home?
Yeah, same here. My mom always calls me to come downstairs and cut the onions so she doesn't cry herself. I have to take the pain.
So for some of them it might be a bit of a rude awakening when we tell them in the first 5 minutes that they're going to be doing all the cooking and cleaning and so forth for the week. And absolutely they're cooking for everybody. No, washing up is absolutely an alien experience to many of them. However, it's another one of these life skills, you know, that they need to know how to do these things. It's exactly the same as looking after themselves.
Something never achieved before.
Once we went to the salt marshes, we got to like it was just so peaceful, and you just saw the sky was just lit up with stars.
When we were like doing certain things, we couldn't do it on our own because it was too difficult, so we had to use another person to help us, or like a group of people to help us. So the teamwork is really important.
We see the change from the first day when they're sat here very, very quietly, not talking to each other, heads down, very subdued, very single word responses.
It was fun, and like when you get to use the wrench, the winch handle, and like when you get to pull the rope in.
There we go. Setting a sail, it was harder, and you'd expect that you could do it yourself, but you had to have someone helping you, so teamwork was really important.
move to the right, and that's going to stop the boat moving to the left. And when it stops moving the horizon, you see this horizon stops, and now it's just creeping to the right a little bit, so we just go left a tiny bit, and when it's not moving left or right, we're in a straight line. And that's perfect. You're doing it perfectly now. That's exactly right. Well done. Just going to drive along that line, almost to the point where we meet the boat.
Do you think as a group you've actually bonded a bit better as friends?
Yeah. To know each other like more.
Yeah.
It builds friendship.
Yeah.
Because in school we don't usually talk to each other.
In school, like I never met both of you.
Yeah.
Like, this is a chance like where I got to meet you guys.
A few of us had to lay down and pull one of the sails down and onto us. It's quite fun.
It's quite an experience. Listen to what the adults say and don't drown.
It was, defenders were pretty heavy, kind of, but we had to like pull them on the other side, which was a bit heavy.
Terrain.
Terrain not going?
No, I think.
Really?
We love you, platonically, Terrain.
Seriously, she's not.
I don't know what that means. Terrain. That means no.
Personally, I do it because I enjoy sharing, firstly, my passion for sailing with all these young people, but secondly, seeing the transformation in these young people. We take these quiet, subdued people, often really, coming from a very difficult background, having had very difficult life experiences, and over a course of a few days, you see a transformation in that young person. You see this subdued person suddenly brimming with confidence. Someone who sat there saying very little to suddenly being very, very talkative and wanting to tell you about things that are going on, wanting to embrace everything that's happening, and giving them some skills that they can take forward in life. We obviously tailor our sailing trips to the current weather conditions. Now, if it's a particularly windy period, then obviously we're going to reef the boat down, which means we're going to reduce the size of the sails, run smaller head sails, make our mainsail much, much smaller, so we don't overpower the boat and we don't intimidate these young people. These guys are here to, or these young people are here to build self-confidence. You see a total transformation in these young people. They're confident, they're working as a team, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to adapt that and work best together as a group. But the whole idea is to develop teamwork regardless of the conditions. And actually, if it is cold, if it's wet, if it's windy, it's also in part teaching them how to deal with adversity.
Outside of London is completely different to inside. In London's like very busy, very packed in buildings, but outside of London, it's much more open, much more natural in a sense. So yeah, it's like you feel comfortable with being outside of London through the experience, so you want to be there again.